Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaravacharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritav Vande Bhagavantav Punah Punah. So this, if somebody were to ask, today we are doing Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, you know? Yes, third chapter. And 17th verse we have done, but then I'm going to give a connection. Then we'll go to the 18th verse. Yes. I hope you won't make any mistake. Today we are doing Bhagavad Gita, third chapter. This creation, supposing somebody were to ask a question, what is the purpose of life? Bhagavan says here, to follow the chakra. What is the chakra? God has created a chakra. That is, the creation is for the jiva. It is meant for to sustain the jiva. And the jiva has to sustain himself through the creation and live for knowing himself. If he wants to be happy, then that happiness is not outside himself. If he wants to be peaceful, that peace is not outside himself. If he wants to be full and complete, it's not outside himself. When he says, I want to be happy, I want to be comfortable, it all means only I want to be full. This is a statement to be understood correctly. I want to be comfortable, I want to be happy, I want to be successful, etc. People say. It means only I want to be full and complete, infinity. I want to be full. And as in the deep sleep state, you are full. Your presence is fullness, non-dual. Every emotion can be explained away. Every emotion can be explained away as pointing to this fullness which is your nature, please. You are greedy, you are jealous, all these impulses point to the nature of the truth as fullness. You feel jealous of somebody because you don't want anybody to be greater than you, because that you are full, where nothing can be greater than, nothing can be parallel to the fullness. And you want to accumulate more and more, because that is of the Bhranti. You think that accumulating more and more, adding more and more to yourself makes you full. That's wrong. Fullness is not the result of accumulation. Fullness is not the result of any forms getting accumulated, any wealth getting accumulated, any popularity getting accumulated. It is not the result of any process. It is a reality about yourself which is already there, and that has to be recognized. And in order to recognize that truth, you follow this chakra. What is this chakra? Survive through the creation, sustain yourself as an individual through the creation, through the 5 elements, and do your duties for mental peace. That attitude that if I have mental peace, through that mental peace, I can know the truth. Therefore, that attitude of doing duties for the mental peace is what is called karma yoga. That is what is called detachment also, as he is going to say in the next verse, in the coming verses. Detachment. What is detachment? Is nothing but that attitude that I am doing it for mental peace. Material results will be taken care of, because when I am doing duty, I have no say over the results, and I can do the duties and leave it at that. But while doing my duty, I say I am doing it for my mental peace, so that I can know the truth. Truth becomes the topic of all duties, please. All duties are connected to mental peace. Mental peace is connected to Brahma Vichara, and Vichara gets connected to Jnanam. And therefore, the purpose of life, if anybody were to ask a question as to what is the purpose of life, to survive and to know the truth. That is the purpose of life. Even though in my own language, the purpose of life is nothing but to remove the reason behind embodiment. That means it means the same thing. If a man is bound, what should he do? Get out of bondage. If a person is unhappy, what is his duty? To get out of unhappiness. If a person is struggling, what is his duty? To get out of the struggle. Yes. Unhappiness, if a person is unhappy, his duty is to get out of unhappiness. If a person is sick, then his duty is to get out of sickness. Similarly, if a person is confined, his duty is to get out of the sense of confinement and understand his nature as comprehensive of the whole universe. And this we have seen. And therefore, the purpose of life is to survive and to know the truth. And the next verse, 17th verse also we have seen. Yastu Atmaratireva. This is called chakram, please. This is called chakram, means God's chakram. God's chakram is to survive and to know the truth is the chakram. The one who doesn't follow this chakram is wasting his life. Is wasting his time. In contrast to that Vesta, then Bhagavan said, Yastu Atmaratireva, the one who revels in himself, Atma Triptascha Manavaha, and a person who is fulfilled in himself, Atmanyevacha Santushtaha, and a person who is satisfied in himself, Tasya Karyam na Vidyate. He has nothing more to achieve. Therefore, he has no more duty also. All duties are meant for achievement of knowledge of oneself. They are not for achieving great wealth, because the wealth also cannot make you full. The wealth will come to you when you do your action. If it is there in your prarabdha, it will come. The results are not in your hands. You can only choose to perform an action. You cannot choose to receive the results. You can't choose the results. It's not in your hands. Whatever comes, you have to accept. If you reject it also, it's not going to change. If you accept it, it's not going to change. The results cannot change as per your likes and dislikes. Your likes and dislikes have no meaning in front of the results. Your likes and dislikes have no effect in front of, before the results. Therefore, Atmanyevacha Santushta Tasya Karyamana Vidyate. He has nothing more to achieve. A person who is happy with himself, he has nothing more to achieve. Beyond one's existence, he has nothing more to achieve, please. You have to achieve yourself. Achieving yourself means recognizing yourself. You can't create yourself. You can't reach yourself. You don't have to modify yourself. You can't change yourself. You can't, by changing, you can change your thinking, all right, but you can't change your being. This is very important. You can change your thinking. You can change your feelings, but you can't change your existence. Your existence is consciousness, and consciousness cannot be changed. You can't change consciousness into confinement. You can't change its nature, that it is by nature confinable. No, it is by nature all comprehensive. It happens to be the truth. You can't change the consciousness as the untruth, please, unto the untruth. You can't change consciousness into matter. Just as matter cannot be converted into consciousness, consciousness also cannot be converted into matter. Matterness is the nature of the matter. Consciousness is the nature of consciousness. Objects are confined, they are located in space. Consciousness is not located in space. The space itself is located in consciousness. And consciousness is self-evident, and it evidences all objects. All objects are evidenced by consciousness, whereas consciousness is self-evident. And therefore, beyond achieving, beyond recognizing yourself, you can't change yourself. You don't have to purify yourself, please. You can purify your mind. You can purify your thinking, all right. You can purify your duties, all right. You can purify your attitudes, all right. But you don't have to purify your existence. Your existence has no flaws. Your thinking may have flaws, and you may rectify your thinking. Your attitudes may have flaws, they may be rectified. Your deeds may have flaws, they may be rectified. But your existence is flawless. That existence, whether Rama goes to sleep, he is peaceful, or Ravana goes to sleep, when he transcends his thinking, he is peaceful. By nature, both are the same. When Rama minus his thoughts is peace, is serenity. Ravana minus his thoughts is serenity. There is no difference between the nature of Rama and the nature of Ravana, please. The nature. The nature, when I say the nature of his existence, I don't mean the nature of his thinking, please. Thinkings may differ. Rama's thinking may differ. Ravana's thinking may differ. Rama's actions may differ. Ravana's actions may be different. I'm not talking about the topic of Vedanta is not your thinking, is not your action, is not your deeds, is not your words. It is your existence. Your existence is that you are a conscious being. That you are consciousness is the topic of Vedanta. That you are all-comprehensive consciousness. And recognizing that, you don't have to purify it. You can't reach it. It is being yourself. You don't have to achieve it. It is being yourself. You can't change it. It is changeless. You don't have to purify it because it is already pure. It is already absolute. It is purity absolute. And therefore you have to recognize your nature. And recognizing your nature is exactly the topic of Vedanta, the topic of Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta. And that's why Bhagavan says, Tasya karyam na vidyate. A person who understands himself, for him, there is nothing beyond self-knowledge. He has no duty. He has nothing more to achieve. Naiva tasya kritena arthaha. Naiva na kritena kaschana. This is the first line of the next verse. It means his fullness cannot be made bigger by doing duty. A jnani recognizes himself. Let us suppose a person recognizes his nature and he understands that he is fullness. And if he does his duty, it's not that he is going to become more peaceful. It's not that he is going to become more full. Fullness can never become. The infinity cannot be increased. The infinity cannot be decreased. If he does his duty, it is not going to add to his fullness. If he doesn't do his duty, it is not going to add to his fullness. It is not going to delete from his fullness. Doing or not doing has no meaning at all for a jnani. And therefore a jnani, because he has nothing more to achieve. Nachasya sarvabhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashaya. And it does not depend upon, it is not attached to kaschidartha vyapashaya. He has no ashraya on any particular thing. Among all the bhutas, among all the created objects, he is not particularly dependent upon any specific object. And therefore, he has no, by doing his duty, he is not going to become more full. He is not going to become, his infinitude is not going to increase, by doing his duty, or by not doing his duty, it is going to be less. Because infinite, the nature never changes when you do or you don't do. Whether you are good or bad, your nature will never change. The nature of your existence, please. I'm not talking about your thinking, the quality of your thinking. The quality of your thinking may be anything. Your values may be anything. Your customs may be anything. Your identity, your social identity may be anything. You may be a Hindu, or you may be a Christian, or you may be Muslim. That's not important. What is important is that you are a conscious being. We don't say that you are a human being. Even human being has to recognize that he is a conscious being, like every other creation, like every other animal. He is a conscious. Even animals are conscious. Even mosquito is conscious. It is confined to its body. It looks small, but it is consciousness. Consciousness is all comprehensive by nature. Consciousness it is not its nature to be confined. And therefore, embodiment is illogical. Confinement to the form is illogical. Comprehensiveness of all forms is its nature. And therefore, a jnani may do his duty, may not do his duty, because he doesn't depend upon any particular object for his happiness. He is happy with himself. He is satisfied in himself. He is full in himself. And therefore, doing his duty doesn't make him more infinite. Not doing his duty does not make him less infinitude. Because infinitude cannot become, you can't add to the infinitude, you can't delete anything from the fullness. And therefore, tasmat, therefore, asaktaha, because for knowing that truth, asaktaha means with the attitude of detachment. What is that? What is detachment? Asaktaha means detachment should be understood correctly. Meaning, I am doing this duty only for mental peace. Material result will take care of itself. It's not in my hands. I can only I can only ask for mental peace. I can do my duty and pray for mental peace, mental purity. When my mind is pure and my mind is peaceful, and then that will facilitate me, that will help me to understand the truth. And therefore, that is called karma yoga. That attitude makes it karma yoga, please. That attitude that I am doing my duties for mental peace makes it karma yoga. Otherwise, it is a mere karma. Otherwise, it becomes a mere duty, mere karma, mere action. That right attitude. When you perform an action with the right attitude, and the rightest attitude, the best attitude is do it prayerfully for mental peace, so that you can know the truth. That is the best attitude. Tasmad asaktaha satatam, always. Karyam karma, the duty, the to be done action. Karya means the to be done. Karma, action. Samachara, do it. Samachara means perform. Always perform your duty with detachment. What is detachment? You don't have to be detached to any result. The material result will take care of itself. I have no choice. I have no say over it. I have no say over it. Yes, I can't change it. I can't command it, etc. This is a very important point in life. The results are not in your hands. We can only choose to do the right actions. The results are not in our hands. What is the result? You can ask for while doing the right action. And nothing can be better than your duty. Your duties. Your duty is right action. All values are your duty. Right values are your duty. To be non-violent is your duty. To be honest is your duty. Honesty is your duty. These are all called values, common sense values. They are not religious values, please. You don't have to belong to any particular religion to follow values. They can all be understood by common sense. common sense values. Common sense values. Tasmad asaktaha satatam, always karyam karma samachara. Therefore, to follow, do your duty, or always do your duty with detachment. Asakto hi acharan karma. Asakta, doing your karma, doing your duties, detached, paramapnoti purushaha. Man can achieve the supreme. Param means is one being. The supreme doesn't mean, don't imagine supreme means all that which is all comprehensive is called supreme. There is nothing more supreme than the more greater supreme, more better supreme than yourself, please. Consciousness. Consciousness evidences the whole universe. And what evidences the whole universe is the supreme. If there is a heaven, it also has to be evidenced by consciousness. If there is a hell, it has to be evidenced by consciousness. And therefore, the time is evidenced by consciousness. And therefore, consciousness is timeless. Timelessness is timeless, is the eternal. The timeless presence is eternal, please. And therefore, supreme, don't imagine. Don't imagine supreme means there must be some supreme being. There must be some supreme being. There is nothing more supreme than your conscious sight. Because everything falls within your conscious sight. Your consciousness is your nature, please. You have the sole identity of being conscious. Form is only an upadhi. Like shirt, you wear a shirt, just as you wear a shirt and remove the shirt by night. And when you go to sleep, you change your shirt. In the same manner, you change your form. After death, you change your form, just as you change your clothes or garments. In the same manner, you change your form. That is also worn a place. But the one who wears is the truth, please. The one who wears the body and the shirt is the truth. He is none other than the truth, please. He is not confinable. He is all comprehensive. Asakto hi acharan karma, doing one's duties with detachment. Paramapnoti purushaha. Purushaha means a man. Man can achieve the supreme. Man can recognize the supreme. You don't have to reach the supreme. You don't have to reach the happiness. You don't have to reach fullness. You don't have to reach fulfillment. Fulfillment is not a resultant factor. Fulfillment is knowing the full. The full is yourself. And fulfillment is nothing but recognizing that you are full. All comprehensiveness is fullness. All comprehensiveness is fullness. Like in the sea water, the waterness is fullness. Water is fullness. Why? Because it is comprehensive of all waves and bubbles. Every bubble. No, the water is not located in the bubble. The bubble is located in the water. This particular point also, every class I point it out. Consciousness is not located in the form. Every form is located in consciousness. And therefore, and the locus is only consciousness. That's why it's called upadana karanam. It is ashrayaha. It is the source. It is where the whole universe is located. God is not located in the creation. Creation is located in God. Therefore, God is not at a particular place, in a particular loka, etc. The loka is in God. Creation is in God. God is not located at any point in space. Paramapnoti Purusha. Therefore, don't think that Supreme Being is something. Don't imagine God. Because human beings imagine a lot. They're used to imagining things. But when it comes to an object, he sees it. It is a sense object. Therefore, you say it is evident. It is sense evident. A scientist always says the world is sense evident. But the truth is, what is not sense evident, that is truth. It's not the absence of sense evidence. It is the presence of the truth which is not sense evident. It is the presence of consciousness. The seer of the sense evident is the non-sense evident. The seer of the sense evident, the one who is aware of the sense evident, he is evidencing the sense evident, even though it is called sense evident. But the one who evidences is only conscious being. It is his knowledge. What is the proof that there is a mountain, please? The only proof is your knowledge. And that means every object is your knowledge. Every thought is your knowledge. And that means its material is only consciousness, knowledge. And consciousness is knowledge. And that knowledge you are yourself. Consciousness, that knowledge in the form of consciousness is your nature. Form is not your nature. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim astitaha janakadaya. Therefore, without imagining, live your life. Don't imagine, don't speculate, don't don't imagine all these things. Don't think that the truth is far away. The truth, God is somewhere in some other loka. He is not in your deeds. He is there. He is all comprehensive, please. The truth is all comprehensive. He is comprehensive of your thoughts. He is comprehensive of your words. He is comprehensive of everybody's deeds. He is comprehensive of the whole universe. And that comprehensive being happens to be yourself, the consciousness. No object is comprehensive of all other objects. The space is not comprehensive of the deep sleep state. Whereas consciousness is comprehensive of space also. Even space falls within consciousness, conscious sight, in your knowledge. Space also is your knowledge. Space falls in your knowledge. Air, fire, water, earth, all of them fall in your knowledge. And therefore they're all your knowledge. And therefore, it says, don't imagine the truth, please, because you don't have to imagine any truth. You have to use your reasoning to understand yourself. The reasoning is that what is an object cannot expand. Fullness is not is the resultant factor of expansion. If you expand, it is still limited place. Expansion is not, you can't expand it to the infinitude. Infinitude is a fact about yourself. You can't expand it to the infinitude. You can't expand it to become fullness. Fullness or infinitude is not a resultant factor. It is not a result of expansion. And therefore, and human beings always want to expand. They want to, in popularity, they want to expand. In terms of wealth, they want to expand. In terms of health, they want to expand. But however much you may expand, you are still limited place. Bigness is different from fullness. Bigness is still limited. Smallness is small, it's still limited. Whereas the infinitude, in the deep sleep state, you are neither small nor big. In the waking state, as confined to the form, you say, as a owner of a few things, you can always describe yourself as small or big in comparison. But in the deep sleep state, you are neither small nor big. Absolutely, you are not small or big, because when you transcend thought, you transcend your dimension also. It is the thought that gives you dimension. It is the thought that makes you feel confined. And therefore, don't imagine the truth. Don't imagine. Use your logic. If you are logical, you can never go wrong, please. You can never go wrong. And study Vedanta. And Vedanta can never make you go wrong. I understand this caste and all, this creed, nationality, these are all mithya. They're all not true. Consciousness is the truth. Every conscious being is the truth, please. Truth is not a given conscious being. He is not an individual. He is the truth of all individuals. Truth is the truth of all individuals. Truth itself is not a given individual. Rama is a given individual. Christ is a given individual. The truth of Rama also is the truth. The truth of Christ also is the truth. The truth of a mosquito and the truth of Rama is the same. The truth of Rama and the truth of mosquito is the same. The truth of Krishna, the truth of Rama, the truth of Christ, the truth of Muhammad, they're all the same. The truth is the same. You can't have many truths. And the truth is not a given individual, but the truth is the truth of all individuals. Consciousness is not only in a given conscious being. Consciousness is the truth of all living beings. And therefore, karmana eva hi sansiddhim. Sansiddhim means success. Success means what? Successfully recognizing one's nature is called success. Sansiddhim. That is called success, please. Successfully recognizing one's nature. That is what is called sansiddhim. Asthitaha janakadayaha. Even great kings, emperors like Janaka, etc., they reached success. It means they understood their nature successfully only by doing karma. Because karma, doing one's duty, purifies your mind. A mind that is purified is peaceful. Purification means nothing but this. That is, I have no choice over the results. I have no choice over happiness. I can't renounce happiness. I can't. It is my nature. Why do I want to be happy? Why can't I struggle for unhappiness? Because happiness happens to be your nature, please. And therefore, every move is a gravitation towards one's existence. It's a gravitation towards one's existence. If you are a thinking person, you can understand this. If you are a logical person, you can understand this. Every move is for happiness. If every move is for happiness, then every move is a gravitation towards one's nature. I don't want unhappiness because that's not my nature. I don't want anything that is parallel to me. That is because that's my nature. The unlimited fullness is my nature. I don't want any struggle. I struggle and struggle so that I don't have to struggle. To be free from struggle is the very goal of struggle, please. I struggle and struggle so that one day I don't have to struggle. That means the goal of the very struggle is to be free from struggle. The aim of struggle is to be free from the struggle. And that freedom from the struggle is indeed the nature of one's being. Freedom from struggle. I work and work and work so that I don't have to work. That means freedom from work is the nature of the truth. Kartrutvam is the nature of the truth. Kartrutvam is a bhranti. That I am a doer is a bhranti. That I am a non-doer. I am mobile is a bhranti. I am still is the fact. I am silent is the fact. I am serene is the fact. And therefore, this kind of successful recognition, even the emperors came to gain. Even emperors had the need for recognizing. You may be an emperor, but yet you are an individual. As an individual, you are limited. And therefore, the limited controls all the other limited beings. A king is limited, and all the subjects are also jiva. The living beings, they're also limited. The limited controls the limited. The limited rules the other limiteds. But even the ruling the limited, even the emperor has the need to know the truth, to know his own nature, please. Because he also has to go to sleep. He has to visit the truth in order to feel fresh next morning. Without really feeling fresh, he cannot survive, he cannot live. And therefore, he has to visit the truth. Every night when you go to sleep, in fact, you stand as the truth. You are free from the sense of limitation. And freedom from the sense of limitation gives you the freshness. The visiting the truth, it makes you feel fresh. And therefore, karmana eva hi samsiddhim astitaha janakadaya. Janakadaya means Sitaji's father, etc. I would like, people say, which Janaka we don't know. But I would like to say that Janaka, who was the father of Sita, was the same person because he was a great jnani and he was a karma yogi. Janaka, had it been some other Janaka, they would have been mentioned. But here Janaka Adayaha means the only Janaka that is known to us is only the Ramayana Janaka, Sita's father. Sansiddhimastitaha Janakadaya. Janaka, etc., they gained success. They successfully recognized the truth only by doing their duties. Loka Sangraha Mevapi. Loka Sangraha means the service of the society, the well-being of the society. Loka Sangraha Mevapi. Sampashan. Sampashan means seeing the well-being of the society that needs to be brought about. Kartumarhasi. Because you have to do, Arjuna, you have to do your duty, seeing the, if you become sluggish, the whole society will become sluggish, because people always follow, they grow in imitation, they grow in imitation, they imagine imitation, they try to follow others' lifestyles, and if the others are, if Mahatma Gandhi is non-violent, I must also be non-violent. If Buddha was non-violent, I am a bhakta of Buddha, and therefore I should also be non-violent. In this manner, human beings happen to grow in imitation. They imitate others. And therefore, if you renounce duty, then the whole society will renounce the duty. If the prime minister doesn't do his duty, then the nation also doesn't do its duty. If the prime minister is corrupt, then the whole country will be corrupt. If the prime minister is wrong, then the whole country will be wrong. And therefore, the prime minister has to be a sannyasi. The prime minister has to have all self-control. He has to have the right values. He should be incorruptible. Then alone the country can grow, and therefore the country can follow. And that is what the people do. What can we do for that? People always follow the others and then imitate others. Like the children imitate the parents. Children imitate the parents. Parents imitate the others, some big individuals, like popular individuals, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, etc., etc. They read the life stories of big people, and they follow, they follow their lifestyle. Swami Vivekananda's life story, they read, and they would like to imitate. They want to grow in imitation of their lifestyle. And therefore, hey Arjuna, if you don't follow your duty, if you don't do your duty, the whole society also will not do your duty. And therefore, even at least for their well-being, you are supposed to do your duty. Your duty happens to be, you are a kshatriya. In those days, that caste system was there. And therefore, you are a kshatriya. You are a soldier. As a soldier, you are, supposing if a soldier deserts the army, then he is not doing his duty. Then the country cannot survive. The army cannot desert army, please. The soldiers cannot desert the army. The soldiers, when they are given orders to fight, they have to fight. And therefore, here, Arjuna, you are supposed to fight for dharma. You are supposed to fight for dharma and fight. And what will be the result? We don't know. That is not in your hands. That is choiceless. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. And therefore, do your duty. Loka sangrahame vapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. You are supposed to do your duty. Seeing at least Loka Sangraham. Loka Sangraham means the well-being of Loka Sangraham means the well-being of the society, the social well-being, at least the society's well-being, seeing it. For in order to help them, you have to do your duty. And why should it be? Because that is how the human beings grow. They grow in imitation. That is what is said. Yadyad acharati sreshtaha tattadeva itaro janaha. The people always follow imitation. Yadyad acharati sreshtaha. Whatever is followed by a sreshta purusha, a big man. Sreshtaha means a big man. Yadyad acharati. Whatever a sreshtaha, whatever a big man does, tattadeva itaro janaha. That alone is followed by others also, janaha. Tattadeva itaro janaha. But this is what happens. This is not what should happen. It is always better that every human being should not imitate others. According to me, everybody should follow his own common sense, his own logic. You don't have to study Mahatma Gandhi's life story or Buddha's life story in order to be non-violent place. In order to be non-violent, because non-violence is better than violence. Non-violence is something, it's a common sense value. Because you don't want others to be violent towards you, and therefore you don't be violent to others. If you rub against others, if you rub the others, others also will rub you, and therefore you don't be violent. You don't hurt others because you don't want others to hurt you. You don't tell lies to others because you don't want others also to tell you lies. You don't, and these are all common sense values. You don't have to imitate others. Don't imitate others. Follow yourself. Follow your right thinking. Follow your right reasoning. Follow your common sense. Common sense is the best thing to be followed. You don't have to belong to any particular religion. Even if you don't belong to any particular religion, you can still follow values, common sense values. And therefore you don't have to follow this person or that person. Even that is what human beings do. But what is ideal is, what is the right thing to do is following one's own common sense. That's why Bhagavan Krishna also says, Yadyad acharati sreshta tattadev itaro jana. This is what human beings do. Mostly human beings are average in intelligence, and therefore they always follow others' life stories, others' lifestyles. And therefore, Arjuna, if you don't fight, if you don't do your duty, the whole society will not do its duty. It will remain sluggish. And therefore, in order to serve the society, you have to do your duty. Sayat pramanam kurute. Whatever a big man, pramanam kurute, whatever cause he works for, lokastadanu vartate, the world also will follow the same thing. That means whatever he does, sayat pramanam kurute, sayat lokastadanu vartate should be understood. The second line should be understood. Whatever a big man does, whatever cause for which he lives, for the same cause, the others also want to live. You want to pick up the purpose of life from the life stories of big people. If they lived for that, and I also will live for that. Sayat pramanam kurite tattadeva itaro janaha. In this manner, people always follow in imitation. They grow in imitation. They grow in imitation. This is the present tense, please. They grow in imitation. But what is the right thing to do? Grow in your own, with your own common sense. Don't abandon common sense. Don't abandon logic. Follow your logic, follow your common sense. Understand the values by your common sense. There are no religious values. All religions have only customs. Values are all common sense values. Customs are different from values, please. Values are called dharma. Values are called dharma. It is the values. I don't want to hurt others because I don't want others to hurt me. I want others to help me, and therefore I should help others. These are all common sense values, logical values. And therefore you need only common sense to understand the values. You don't have to belong to any particular religion or any particular nation, please. And therefore, here Bhagavan says, at least for serving the society, you should do your duty. Human beings always grow in imitation, but the right thing to do is to grow with common sense, to grow with common sense, to grow with your reasoning. And the more of it we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.